Wisconsin, Mr. Fitzgerald is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chair. I want to talk about City of Milwaukee. HUD reports in December of 2022 and April of 2023 showed the Housing Authority of the City of Milwaukee was at risk for fraud and abuse and allegedly mismanaged millions of dollars. In May of 2023, that may be some of the dollars we were just talking about, HUD deemed some of the Housing Authority's programs, including its Section 8 program, quote-unquote troubled. In recent years, residents have come forward and expressed complaints about bed bugs, rat infestations, apartment break-ins, and mold. For its financial conditions, the Housing Authority scored 0 of 25 points. The physical conditions of its properties, too, received a poor grade, scoring just 26 of 40 points. HUD recently ordered the Housing Authority to hire an outside agency, the Department of Neighborhood Services, to run inspections of the Housing Authority's more than 4,000 units. HUD also ordered the Housing Authority to bring an outside vendor to help the Section 8 office go through every single participant in the Housing Choice Voucher Program and make corrections if needed. While leaving the Housing Authority as the administrator, which is key in this discussion, I think. After that, DNS had the ability to fine and hold the Housing Authority of the City of Milwaukee accountable. Mr. Slover, Mr. Doherty, you've both mentioned so far today kind of a need for more direct accountability to HUD. So let me ask you first, Mr. Slover, should HUD have stepped in? Is this a situation where HUD should have stepped in the Milwaukee situation sooner? And is this typically what you see in other larger metropolitan areas?
No, absolutely. HUD needs a quicker trigger. They wait way too long, and by the time they get there, the damage is so bad that it's really hard to unwind, and then they don't even do it then.
Very good. Mr. Doherty, would conditions that I just described in Milwaukee be more likely to be improved if the authority or its vendor were held accountable directly to HUD?
No, if there was more accountability and more enforcement, I think you'd see improved living conditions for the residents in public housing.
And then the question to both of you, how can Congress, how can those of us sitting in this room right now kind of refocus the accountability of public housing agencies to HUD for greater accountability for tracking and the reporting and the achieving results? Because what I think many members of Congress find frustrating is this problem is so massive kind of across the country right now. It's hard to figure out what can we do to specifically kind of target something.
I'll take a shot at that. So there's 3,000 public housing agencies in the country. It's the largest real estate operating business in the country. The largest private landlord is you. You're right there. But you don't run it that way. You run it as if, you're sending money and don't really care what happens. I don't want to say care, but there is no demand for a return on the investment. There's plenty of models out there. There's franchise models, there's business models, there's many models of accountability. When someone checks into the Days Inn in Austin, Texas, they know how much that room rate was, and they know what their profit was. The technology exists. This government and this agency and HUD doesn't want to know that level of information, because then we have to really start. Accountability is a really difficult thing, and it's going to be a very difficult road, but we have to start because the results are just ineffective. Again, it's not a money problem; it's an execution problem. There's a saying out there: 20% idea, 80% execution. We don't have any execution capacity within this vast enterprise.
Very good. Mr. Doherty, do you have a comment on that front?
I think Bill handled that really well, so I don't want to add to it.
Very good. Thank you. I yield back.